Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Captain, Community Information Director for Volusia County Government. This is the Friday, September 30th, 3 p.m. Hurricane Ian post-storm briefing. This afternoon, you'll hear from the county's Emergency Management Director, Jim Judge, Beach Safety Deputy Chief Tammy Malfers, Volusia County School District Chief Operating Officer Dr. Earl Johnson Jr., and Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood. The destruction left behind Hurricane Ian is indescribable. Homes, roads, businesses, and even our iconic speedway are all underwater. The recovery and healing process from this storm is underway. However, just because the storm has moved on, the danger has not. Many roads remain underwater and littered with fallen trees. We have many abandoned vehicles on the sides of roads with no one inside to tell the story of their misfortune. While county officials have lifted all curfews, we still discourage residents from leaving their homes unless it's absolutely necessary. It's going to take a lot of people to restore our beautiful community. If you or your organization would like to lend a helping hand, please register on the United Way of Volusia and Flagler Counties website at uwvfc.org or by calling the county's Citizens Information Center at 386-345-0345. Residents who have experienced significant property damage, unable to remain or return safely, are encouraged to also call the Citizens Information Center. Again, 386-345-0345. Resource information, as it becomes available, will be provided. As of 1 p.m., approximately this afternoon, about 184,000 customers remain without power. Surely, this is a large number, but in looking at the positive side of things, it is a significant decrease from yesterday when almost 250,000 were without power. So for those still without power, please know our partners at all the utility companies are working diligently to restore service. There are multiple utility crews that have been mobilized from outside of Florida to assist, and they're here to help to get your power restored as quickly as possible. If you experienced a power outage, be mindful that the foods in your refrigerator and freezer may not be suitable to consume. Before consuming foods and drinks from your refrigerator or freezer, be sure to visit the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's website to learn more. We have added a link to the Volusia County Emergency Management Facebook page about food and water safety during power outages and floods. At this time, we do not have a start date for the debris removal as the damage assessment is ongoing. Residents must separate debris into separate piles. One pile can consist of vegetative, such as leaves and branches and cut trees. The second pile, separate, should consist of the demolition debris, such as building materials, carpet, furniture, fences, drywall, and other types of related construction-like items. Volusia County will not pick up storm debris that is appropriately separated. Electronics is hazardous waste and should be collected separately, along with other hazardous waste chemicals. Those things can be disposed of at the Tomoka landfill or the West Volusia transfer station, and that's free. Our shelters have had almost 400 people as of 9 a.m. this morning under protective cover. All shelter locations will close at 10 a.m. tomorrow. The county will be transitioning our current shelter locations, and I'll pass this on to Emergency Management Director Jim Judge for those details. Jim?
Thank you very much, Kevin. And Dr. Johnson with the school district is going to be speaking in a few minutes, but a real shout out to Dr. Johnson and the entire school district. Those folks have gone above and beyond. They've been in those shelters now for days, and I did ask Dr. Johnson, can you give us a little more time? And he said absolutely. So even tonight, again, we're going to have individuals in those shelters with the staff, both from the school district and from the health department, to maintain and help those folks get through another night. But then, of course, tomorrow morning we're going to transition. We have to get out of the schools so they can open back up for next week. beautiful weather out today, and it will be for the next week. And so we want to get out of those schools and be able to have them open back up, give the school district time to get to cleaning and things that they need to do. So with that, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning at the Ocean Center, we will be, that'll be the main evacuation point and sheltering location for Volusia County. So not only do we have folks at the special needs shelter and also general population shelter, we still have individuals that are sheltered down in Ponce Inlet, New Smyrna Beach, and then also in Port Orange. So all those community centers, they'll be transitioning also to the Ocean Center. So the good news, we've been working very closely with the American Red Cross. They're going to come in tonight, get set up in the morning, and they'll be ready to go to not only help staff, feed, and then look after the folks that will be housed there, for the coming weeks. So we continue to, find individuals, as the sheriff said earlier, and being able to pull them out of harm's way, some mobile home parks, and then be able to get them sheltered safely. So again, Dr. Johnson, my sincere thanks to you and your team, and then also Stephen Cavaletti with the Health Department for all the things that their staff has done. So going forward, we do have a federal declaration for Volusia County and all of 67 counties. And we also have been approved for what we call Category B. And Category B are all the protective measures. So that means that, once we reach the $2 million threshold in Volusia County and submit that with other counties, then we'll pretty much get that federal declaration that will help us be reimbursed for all of our expenses for not only protective actions, but then a host of other areas that we'll be able to get reimbursed for. So what's the process? Only a couple of counties in Central Florida right now have received the approval from FEMA for individual assistance. We are working very closely with our elected officials at the state and federal level so that we can be added to that individual assistance program. We have already sent up through Larry Bartlett, our property appraiser, up to the state and then also on to FEMA. And we gave them some additional information just a little bit ago, so we anticipate that individual assistance coming shortly. So what is that? So once we get the approval for individual assistance, you're able to go online. There'll be a lot of information coming out where you can submit for individual assistance for FEMA. So that'll be able to be done at our libraries. You can do it, from your home on your computer, even from your smartphone. So all that is forthcoming. And so there'll be a lot that's still coming down the road from that. There'll be an assistance center that will FEMA, Small Business Administration, and others will locate. We've used the Health Department main facility off Halsonback, and that's been a wonderful facility to use because there are close to a dozen different criteria that the FEMA requires to meet in order to have a facility. And since we've already been through that process again, that's where we'll go. So a lot of information is still forthcoming on that process, but we're paying close attention to it. We do have a FEMA representative in-house, so we'll keep everybody posted, and certainly with Kevin to be able to push that information out. So with that, let me introduce you to our Beach Safety Ocean Rescue Deputy Chief, Tammy Malfers.
Thank you, Jim. Beach conditions remain incredibly hazardous. The double red flags are currently flying, and we expect to fly them for the next few days. In addition to the waves, debris may be in the ocean and on shore, which will cause bodily harm. There are many beach walkovers, seawalls, and sea dunes that have been damaged by the storm. Please stay off of these to avoid injury or further damage. We understand the temptation to go to the beach, but the weather is nice. It's the weekend. Everyone's been huddled in their homes the last few days. Please heed our warning. You're putting yourself and first responders in harm's way. At this time, we'll pass it over to Dr. Earl Johnson Jr., the Chief Operating Officer for the Volusia County School District.
Thank you, Deputy Director Malfers. Good afternoon. Our two special needs shelters are Atlantic High School and Galaxy Middle School. And our two general population shelters are Mainland High School and DeLand High School. They all have open capacity for people. Our shelters will remain open until 10 a.m. Saturday morning. At that time, those who will still need access to the shelter will be transported to the Ocean Center on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Currently, Our staff is surveying our school sites and road accessibility. We are assessing schools' power, structural damage, debris in the roadway, and on our campuses. We are at the beginning stages of this process, and our school is working on mitigating the conditions to make sure we are prepared to open schools as expeditiously as possible. We want to make sure we are going to open schools safely for our parents, students, and staff. For further information, please visit vcsedu.org. Additionally, VCS Connect is the simplest way to stay connected and informed before, during, and after the storm. Text YES to 67587 and opt in for the most current information on storm impacts to schools, schools closures, and the latest storm-related news. Now, I would like to ask Sheriff Chitwood to the podium.
Good afternoon. I hope we all reflect this weekend on what a historic and catastrophic event we faced here, and that you keep our fellow Volusia County residents in your prayers, because we lost 3 lives during this event, and there are untold numbers who had catastrophic losses of their home and their property, and not to mention what is going on to our friends and neighbors down in the southwest part of the state. Just to give you a quick frame reference of unofficially what we looked at, when you think of the rain and the wind that came into our community, New Smyrna Beach, 15.5 inches of rain. The Land, almost 13 inches. Edgewater, 11.5. Lake Helen, 11 inches of rain. The Barry, 11 inches of rain. Daytona Beach, a little over 10. When you factor that in, plus there were over 600 calls to our dispatch center for people to be evacuated. I could not be prouder to be part of the team we have here in Volusia County, whether it's police, fire, EMS, municipal police departments. The governor gave us access to National Guard members who provided 5 additional high water rescue vehicles. And as of right now, we have no calls pending for people that need to be evacuated from their flooding. That's not to mention what Jim Judge said. We are one of the staging areas for the power companies. The Daytona Beach Speedway, even though it's underwater right now, has hosted hundreds and hundreds of electrical folks to restore electricity throughout the southeastern part of the United States who have come here to help get the power back up. So as we close, I want to thank all of the Volusia County residents that heeded our warnings and respected when the call for our curfews, so that we could get out there and do the work that so needed to be done. So thank you all. God bless you all. And I'm really, really proud to be part of this community and work with such wonderful men and women. Jim or Kevin?
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you to all our speakers. It might be hard to find good news right now. Last night, we received a call that the Edgewater Animal Shelter was taking in water, putting the lives of all the animals at imminent 1790. In closing, I like to say, take care, stay safe, and help your neighbors. Well, that message is very important right now. We need to definitely reach out, help our neighbors, take care, stay safe, and reach out a helping hand. We're all in this together, and we will prevail. Have a great afternoon.